Can you relate to this? I don't see it. Okay. What does this email say? Okay. School award ceremony. How do I find out about that? Oh, what's this? Schoology. What is Schoology now? And I just want to find out what assignments due tomorrow and what the homework is. Keith, the counselor here, and today's part of the Middle and High School Transition Parent Survival Guide is going to cover school systems and structures and give you some pointers so you can better navigate and understand how to use them. Navigating the school website. Let's take a look at how to navigate a school website. School website has a lot of important information for parents. Some of that information is upcoming events, bell schedules, like maybe you have a block schedule, maybe you have a late start day once a week. All the schedules will be there for you to look at. You'll have staff info and staff contact list. You'll have registration info. You'll have teacher websites, if applicable. You'll have counselor websites, and you'll have quick links. It's really important that you familiarize yourself with the different components of your school's website. And as always, if you have any questions, reach out to your school counselor or school secretary to get some answers. One of the most confusing aspects that I see parents struggle with when their kids enter middle school is how to track their assignments. Now, each school is going to handle this differently, so this may or may not apply to you. But at the school that I work at, we basically have two different systems that the teachers use. Infinite Campus is where teachers input all the missing assignments and assessments. The nice thing about Infinite Campus is once you get used to using it and you make it a daily routine, it's really easy to navigate and it's really easy to see what's happening. And one suggestion I have is that if you see a missing assignment, it's pretty common for the tween or teen to say, I did that. If they say that, maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but don't be afraid to email the teacher as a follow-up. Sometimes things that I've seen that happen are the kid leaves the assignment in their locker. There's a mysterious monster that lives in each locker and eats all these assignments apparently. I don't know, I haven't seen it. It's a mythical creature at our school. Sometimes they didn't do it, sometimes they got confused. So like we talked about in the communicating with staff, it's always good just to say like, okay, cool, well I'm just gonna follow up with the teacher, I believe you, and I'm gonna try to piece together. It takes everybody communicating to make this work. For upcoming assignments, there's a couple of different options. Our teachers at our school use what's called Google Classroom, and each teacher uses it a little bit differently, but usually there's a Google Calendar associated with each classroom that has all the upcoming assignments. I know what you're saying. In a perfect world, you'd be able to go to one place and you'd be able to see all the missing assignments and all the upcoming assignments. And sometimes some programs do that, but sometimes they don't. Even for me as a school counselor, my job would be way easier if that was the case. It's so frustrating for me because sometimes I give up, which is why I'm making this video, because I'm trying to make it easier for you to do as a parent and take some of that frustration out of it. So one of the best things I think you can do in the beginning of a school year is don't be afraid to email your teachers and say, hey, I just want to get an idea of what systems you're using, how do I track missing assignments, how do I track upcoming assignments. It is good to remember though in the beginning of the year that teachers are usually super busy organizing lessons, getting on a normal sleeping schedule, and building relationships with the kids and stuff. So it might take them a little time to get back to you, but usually they do. Or you can always reach out to your school counselor as well. So my advice, especially if you're a parent whose tween is getting ready to start middle school, would be to do a little research on your own, go to the school website, see if they talk about Infinite Campus, see if they talk about a parent portal or an app that you can download as a parent that you're able to track assignments with. Now, some of this might take a little bit of detective work for you too. That's why I wanted to go over the school website first. Go to the staff list, and some important people that you can contact if you have any questions would be the principal secretary or the general school secretary. Your school counselor is also a really great resource. Some schools have a bursar's office that has a secretary there who can answer your questions, and you can always reach out to the teachers too, like we mentioned earlier. And when you're on the phone with this person or sending an email, some good questions to ask are, what are the school apps that you can use and download to help track your tween or teen's missing and upcoming assignments? And also important, make sure that when you get the information, try to log in. Because I've seen a lot of times where logins don't work. And if that's the case, make sure you call back and talk to the school secretary, and they'll try to help you out and get you started. Another big difference between elementary school and middle school is kind of the who's who in the building. Usually middle school is going to have an assistant principal, a principal, you'll have school counselors, you'll have a dean of students who primarily takes care of disciplinary issues, you'll have the health clerk, and the health clerk is a really good person to make sure you reach out to notify them of any sort of health plans that your tween or teen might have. You also have the principal's secretary, you have the attendance liaison and attendance secretary who you want to contact about any excused absences. You have a social worker or somebody who oversees the special education department. And you have counselors. Usually your counselors are in charge of your tween or teen scheduling, and also a lot of them do the 504 case manager work too. So they're really great people to talk to. And counselors are really great too to help you problem solve and to try to help you answer any general questions you may have. So an action step you can take right now is ask yourself these couple of questions. Do I know who my tween or teen's school counselor is? If your tween or teen has an IEP or 504, do you know who that person is? Do you understand all the systems that are in place at the school for tracking assignments, either the missing ones or the upcoming ones? If your child has an IEP, do you know who the case manager is? Have you been in touch with that person? If you know the answers to all these questions, then that's great, you're off to a good start. If you don't, I would strongly suggest either finding someone to email or to call and try to get those questions answered as soon as you can. We're gonna throw a little pop quiz in here. So what is the number one thing that you can do to help ensure that your tween or teen has a successful school year? Communication. If you guess communication, you're right. And here's something I want to emphasize too. If for some reason you've been reaching out to the counselor, you've been reaching out to the teacher, and you haven't got a response and you really need to know, there's no harm in contacting the school's administrator to try to figure out what's going on. So to summarize the points of this video, familiarize yourself with the school's website. In regard to bell schedules, make sure you know, is there a late start schedule once a week or once a month that you need to follow? Does your tween or teen have a block schedule they need to follow? Knowing who's who is important as well. So you want to make sure you check out the school staff list and who would be able to help you out when you need something. The more you can inform yourself as a parent or a guardian, the more successful you're going to be in supporting your child. And also the less grief and anxiety you're going to have because you're going to know more what's going on at the school.